everyone, it's Maria from J'adore le papier. Happy Ruby Tuesday. It might actually be Ruby Wednesday for this video, but I am here to do my design team project for Heather at Ruby&Pearlxo, and I am doing a Christmas theme. It's actually a journal with matching advent calendar, and the advent calendar is meant to be a keepsake and not necessarily just for Christmas, with reusable boxes. I love advent calendars, but I hate throwing away the packaging and or the box that it comes in. And sometimes when the box is a keepsake, it's just all Christmas. So this one I have designed to be able to actually take it from Christmas into spring and summer and fall. Shout out to Virginia at Jupiter Crafts. Why do I always forget? Jupiter Arts Crafts for this beautiful fabric that inspired it all. It's actually a church on front and back with a soft spine. I had just recently watched some videos that I'll link below. So on the inside, all vintage, or actually antique, French papers that are blank, which is rare for me. But the advent calendar is meant to layer on this journal, and there are enough 2-page layouts. So day 1 of December, this is December 1st, there's enough 2-page layouts for all of the month of December. And there's going to be extra ephemera throughout that I'm just going to go ahead and put in the journal, just because I wasn't able to include everything in the 25 gift boxes. The cover is just one of these magnetic closures by Rachel Zoe, I think, at Home Goods. Simple magnetic closure, and believe it or not, it does close. And I covered it with handmade paper wherever there was a design that I didn't like. I think this box was $7.99, but in this video it's going to be a little special because I'm going to do a tutorial for the first time, and then also follow up with 2 or 3 videos showing you how to make your own advent calendar if you don't necessarily want to make one this big. This one is 8 3/4 by 13 inches tall, so I can't even fit it all on camera, but it's 13 inches tall and 4 inches deep. So when you first open it, it's actually going to have a beautiful digital of Heather's, actually layered digitals that I collaged on the inside, again, to cover up some of the paper I didn't like or the design. And then just a simple tracing paper sheet of one of her digitals called the Holly Tree. It's going to have the journal in it as day 0. It'll just be the simple Asian art tissue paper that I have as part of my line, but I love the red and greens. And look how pretty that looks just sitting there. And I'll set the journal aside. But there are 25 gifts inside. It's not a perfect puzzle piece matched. And as part of my follow-on, I'll probably share some tips on how I do it again. We'll start out, because we're going to be layering the journal, and it is a journaler's set, or journaler's advent calendar. The first 3 envelopes, 1, 2, 3, are all made using the tracing paper technique, the glassine bag, and or tall envelopes. Leslie from 507 Willow House loves making these. And I'll link the tutorial for the glassine treat bags below. But they basically all have ephemera inside. The first one I'll go ahead and open. I won't open everything just because I will be selling this in about a week. This first one will just have ephemera and ledger papers and tags, just some of the basics to start out day 1 with. So here's some of your French school ledger paper. I'll list all of the Christmas digitals that I have used from Heather below. Day 2 will be more ledger paper and or scraps from all of the kits that I've used. Journal cards that I wasn't able to fit in, I'll be stuffing into any of these envelopes. They look like library cards. Day 3 is actually a gift that I received from Virginia, Jupiter Arts Crafts again. They are handmade papers that are embossed. And there's several pieces inside, different sizes. So I thought they'd be great for layering your pages, your base pages. I'll also include a sheet of the vellum numbers that I used to label on the tags. These tags are part of a tutorial that Heather from Rose Hill Paper Cottage did, and I'll link that below. Hers are way fancier than mine, but I did attach them to a chipboard, and in some cases gave them a second side. Where is this box up here? And you're going to see part of this video. I'll do one tutorial of these origami boxes that I made. And then I'll also show you how to convert some of your small little boxes into treasures that you could keep through the year to make your own advent calendar. And because this is a journaler's advent calendar, this might be the washi tape. I'll open this one. Yes, green washi tapes. So this is origami. It's 2 sheets of paper. And then there's one of the other cute tags. See, I didn't go all out as Heather did, but this was actually already an existing box, one of these jewelry boxes, but I just covered the top by simply wrapping the top with the digital. And that's probably one of the easiest ways, is to just use your double-sided tape. So there's that little angel. Because I couldn't get the full angel on the front like I wanted, I went ahead and made the little tag, the matching angel tag. A special antique prayer charm. All of the small charms that were meant to go into 25, I have 3 sets of 25, all French antique charms that I've procured from Catherine at French Billet-Doux. And because this is a journaler's advent calendar, and I've gone ahead and put some paper supplies, glues, washi tapes, paper clips in here. I put some of the charms as 2 or 3 pieces in some of the boxes and or the outside of each box. So thank you, Catherine, because there'll be 2 more advent calendars that I'll try to make before November 1st to also sell. Actually an origami paper holder. And I'll probably do a tutorial on this one as well, so that you could put scraps of papers inside, extra antique perfume labels, etc. 7 is a little French antique envelope that I've covered with a handmade paper that coordinates with the cover. I'm not going to open this one. I believe I have some French labels. I did procure some antique French perfume labels from Monahan Papers. So if there are little envelopes, I don't want to take too long here. It's at the bottom, and it's a envelope or manila folder style envelope. When I filmed this yesterday, I had to rebuild everything today. So here's number 9, and this is actually a bigger box, and this is what threw off my little puzzle pieces. Sometimes you'll just find a box you really want to use, and you're just gonna have to build around it. But sweet little angel. This is sweet little shopping bag origami using one of her book cover digitals. Coffee stained envelopes with her digitals, 2 of them. One has our favorite Tim Holtz miniature paper clips, and the other has bulb pins. So here's an envelope stuffed full of these, and then bulb pins that are stronger because there might be some charms in here. Stronger bulb pins. This sweet little girl that's on my collaged gift tag that was meant to go on the top. I probably didn't mention this gift tag is removable from the cover or not attached, because I want the person to be able to take this from Christmas to any time of year gift box or box for your desktop to keep papers in. A recollaged collage of Heather's digital. So you can trace to cardstock your own template and build your own cards. I believe 13. But it's these sweet little girls who are going Christmas tree shopping. And I covered the top and the bottom as well. So this will be one of the templates that I provide you. An origami box that is one sheet of paper. So this one I'll open because I want to show you how the box opens. A fussy cut. So it's one sheet, simply folded, with its own lid. Inside, some sample charms from Catherine French Biadou. One of these charm pins. Antique miniature sewing needles. I can't use those, they're too small for me. A little bit of red thread. And of course, a little thimble. So as you can see, this is an example where I put 4 charms instead of putting them in 4 separate boxes, because some of the gifts are actually paper gifts. So traditionally you might have just all charms inside your advent calendar, but in this case I wanted to make it a journaler's advent calendar. And then there she is there, and inside here might be actually the alcohol ink so that you can make your own aged tape. There's a tutorial by Heather at Rose Hill Paper Cottage where she makes her own aged tape, so I'll link that below as well. And then whatever you don't have, you can make using origami. So that was 15, this is 16. Another origami piece, and this one is what I'll probably do as part of this tutorial at the end. It's actually a Matchbox style. So it's one of Heather's ledgers and one of the Christmas papers with polka dots and roses on it. And then on the inside, I just put some vintage threads from France probably, and maybe one German one. And then it's just 2 pieces of paper, and we'll do that together today. 18 has a special charm, probably 2 charms inside, and I wrote what they are because one I believe is World War I, and then the other one is, well, the descriptions are inside, but I just wanted to show off the boxes. The sweet little birds covered. I provide this template as well. Made the matching little gift tag. There's a special charm in here. I don't remember. I know I said I didn't want to open each box. Oh, antique French buttons. One of them is actually extra special. That's why I provide the bulb pins, so that the person can actually attach any of these charms to the fabrics that might be used as tabs in your journal. One of my all-time favorites, I actually watched a tutorial of a 10-year-old kid, and his lighting wasn't very good, so I'll be recreating this origami tutorial in a upcoming video. But it's a little takeout box, a little Chinese or to-go food boxes, and inside is a little French charm that's supposed to be a good luck charm that actually is found in their cakes. 21 is actually a Monahan's paper decoupage box, but I just love the color. It's a vintage or antique lotion label from France that they decoupaged. And inside, I'm still waiting on something. You'll hear something, but one more piece has to go in number 21. 22 and 23 both have vintage and or antique charms and paper clips. And they might have one that is actually a French lace Burano in miniature size. But it's just one digital, and I provide this square box as a template as well. 23 is the same shape, different image. It's the big child Jesus. Using ribbon or not, just because I didn't want to cover up the sweet little images that I use. A lot of Heather's digitals are already collage, so it's just kind of fun to pick a collage you like. So 24, Christmas Eve. This is my all-time favorite origami so far. It's a book with a hollow spine. It's It's made from 3 pieces of square 6-inch origami paper, or in this case, digital paper. And I will show this in a future tutorial. But after I built the box, I just put to size one of her digitals called Christmas Eve, front and back, so it's like a book. And then it actually stands like a book on your bookshelf. Inside is a special Christmas Eve charm. It's actually a very rare antique French charm. All I'll say is that it might be a story of Passion of the Christ, and it might be a metal book with metal pages. So that's rare. I'm not going to open it because it is a special gift for Christmas Eve. And one more box for Christmas. I couldn't decide if this was the Christmas gift or not. Inside is another antique charm. And it just has these sweet angels that I made the matching card for. And again, it's another rare Christmas French charm inside. This one is actually just a filler, because when you're building your box, it's actually difficult to put together your puzzle pieces first, especially if you do 25 boxes, which is what I should have done. Built out the box shapes first and figured out where to place them and then numbered them before putting the gifts inside. But the gifts I put inside first because I wanted the person to be able to layer their journal, if that makes sense. So it was a little more difficult. So I used one of my other origami examples or prototypes, which is a piece of candy. And this one was actually very difficult, so I'm not sure if I can actually duplicate the tutorial. It took me forever to follow the guide, especially because a lot of the tutorials are in Japanese and they don't necessarily translate in closed captioning. And of course they don't talk. But inside you could put your little candies, which I probably will when this finally goes out for sale. But or I'll put another special gift in there. So for the first tutorial, we're going to make this matchbook drawer style origami. It's 2 pieces of paper. This one I made from 7-inch squares. But for the tutorial, I'm going to show you a traditional 6-inch square origami sheets that are not decorative. These could be your Ruby&Pearlxo digitals themselves. Just make sure to cut it out into a perfect square. The bigger your square, you'll just have to adjust your measures for this one, but it is easier to work with bigger papers. So for the bottom, I'll use the red sheet, and for the top, I'll use the green. For your bottom, the first thing we'll do is cut or fold our papers into squares. So color side down. Once you have your square, I'm going to call this center line here A. We're going to fold up to A. And then I'm going to call this new center line B. Now we're going to fold the long edges up to B. Now you have something that looks like this. You have a crease here from when we folded our squares, and I'm going to call that line C. So that's that crease. We're going to fold up to C, the short side. If you have your bone folder, it'll help, because when you make creases in origami, that's actually how you make the final folds. It's easier to make the shape if your crease lines are really sharp and easy to follow. So now you have something like this. Open that up, and you now have creases here and here. What we're going to do is make a triangle and bend or fold this lower corner up to that new line. Crease hard. So you have something like that. You're going to do it again on the opposite side. So flip it over and fold your lower left to that crease line. Sharp crease. Now you should have 2 creases that form diagonals. We're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to fold a triangle up to that crease, flip it over, open, and take your lower left corner and fold up to that crease line. Now you should have 2 creases that form that triangle. Okay. Now you're going to open up your box because it is about to take shape as a box. See, these edges here are now the ends of your boxes, and these creases here, remember the diagonals that we just made? While your box is open, take your pointer fingers and pinch in and fold up. Pinch in, fold up, and suddenly you have the corner of your box on both sides. This is where you would typically glue down, but before I glue down, I like to form my box first just to make sure I made it properly. So we're going to fold the top flap down, and you'll see suddenly you're starting to form a box. I'll do the same thing on the other side before I glue everything down. Pointer fingers at the diagonals, push them in and let the folds work for you. Push in and fold up together at the same time and pinch. And then you'll see that you've formed that corner. Sometimes I'll take a pen just to help the push out the corner. Flap down and crease. Didn't do that very good, but you can see you've kind of shaped your box already. So let me clean up my folds. So now I've cleaned up my creases. I went back and made my creases really strong because that's where it helps you push your shapes together. There we go. So this is where they recommend you glue it down. Since we're going to be putting charms, you'll glue it down at the touch points. So the corner 1, corner 2 will be a little bit of glue, and then the flap that goes in will be a little bit of glue. Set that aside, and we'll work on the cover. Okay, so now we're going to work on the cover. You'll notice the cover has a little bit of a gap, just as a stylish element. And in fact, same with this big one here, the bigger one that I made into thirds. I've never been good at making the S shape and getting it perfect. So since I know this is a 6-inch square, I just take my ruler. I find 1/3 of that, which is 2 inches. Just kind of fold up to kind of give me a fake crease. And then I know that's where I'm going to make my fold. So there's your fold 1. Fold 1, 2 inches. There you go. Now, this is where we form the gap. When you take your bottom, which is the white side, and come to meet that first fold, you're going to leave about a 3 millimeter gap. I just kind of guess. That looks like 3 millimeters to me. But if you... that's probably 2 millimeters. I'm not sure really. And then for the sides, we're going to cut off 5 millimeters or half a centimeter on each side. So we're going to cut half a centimeter. So there's your 1 centimeter, there's the half. I make a fold so I know where to cut. And that's how much I'm going to cut right off. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll look for half a centimeter right about there. Of course, it's easier to do this off camera. Fold from the edge 2 centimeters. So 1, 2, make the faux crease and bend. Another 2 centimeters from the edge. I bend up. There's my crease. And okay. Now you have a shape something like this. Lengthwise, like this. See these 2 creases you just made? You're actually going to fold up to those creases and fold up to crease A. Over. There's that other first crease. Fold up to that crease. Now when you open this up, you'll see all these creases, and suddenly if you bring them together, oops, I did that backwards, you want your little white area to show. Before I glue these pieces together, I slide it over my bottom base and make sure I measure properly. There you go. So there's your drawer style. It's pretty close. And glue these 2 flaps, 2 end pieces together. And then just go back and glue any flaps that you want to really secure. But the art of folding is really having strong creases to help you make your shapes. Add a little bit of tissue paper. This might be a little too much. Add your charm or your little gift. You've got an advent calendar box from Boxes. So if you have boxes that you've been keeping or you like the shape of, this one happens to be the Crystal Light drink mix. What I do is I open it up at the glue points and I use this as my template to then trace over any digital that I want. So I know that this is going to be the front. This was the front of the box. So I'll take my pen and just literally trace around the box. And then when you're done, you could just cut out your digital and glue it to the box exactly. And then because the creases are already there and you know where the glue spot is, just fold it back up, put a little glue right there. Or if you don't have the boxes, what I've done is I've traced them for you. 6 different sizes, I believe, 5 or 6. And I'll save them as PNG files so that one file will be see-through. So if you like to work digitally, you could take the shape and put it over your digital image on your computer and do this, and then print out the actual image that you've combined of the PNG plus the digital, and print this to actual cardstock so that your cardstock print will then be foldable into your own boxes. So hopefully that makes sense. But those are for the people who like to work with digital files before printing. Print the template that I give you, that I provide, and cut it out to form. Print it to cardstock so that it's a little stronger to work with. Then you can go ahead and trace it to your favorite printed digital and cut out your shape. For today's quick tips guide, I'm just going to go ahead and I think I want more of this green here. Keep in mind where the glue spot is. Take your cardstock template that you printed, put your paper digital right over, glue it down, and if it doesn't look perfect, that's okay, because you can make adjustments after it's glued down. Remember, this long end is actually your glue spot when you fold your box. Make any adjustments to your trim. Now, since you're not quite sure where the folds are, just start folding where you believe the box likely was folded. This was probably folded up. Now remember, this long edge was where the glue spot was based on the template. So this box actually has a longer flap because on the inside it formed sort of a divider. So if you determine that's where your fold should be, go ahead and make that crease and fold it. A lot of these smaller sample boxes have dividers, which you'll see in a second. So let's say we know that's about how much that's where you're going to be gluing it down. What's this flap for? Go ahead and fold that down, because that'll go on the inside of your box as a divider. If you don't need that divider, you can simply cut that off. But if you want the divider to put a couple of charms in there, then definitely use that. But this was your glue point where I wrote glue. And again, I'll write down where the glue point was on your template. Glue down and let that dry. It's easier to let your box dry before working to take its shape. Mind, because you have two sheets of paper or one cardstock and one little bit tighter of a fit when you form your box. But that's actually okay because it helps strengthen the shape. So now you have 2 advent calendar boxes. 23 to go. Anyway, I hope that tutorial wasn't too painful. Those were my very first 2 ever. And I'll follow up with additional tutorials on extra origami boxes for you. And if you're wondering why I'm doing my Christmas video so early, it's actually because it takes a while to gather all of your 25 gifts, 24, however many you're doing. But as you can see, it also takes a while to create your boxes and or decorate your boxes. So I'll come back next time and show you some other advent calendar styles, just in case you don't want to build something so big. But I'll show examples of some candy boxes, maybe even some of those shipping boxes. But thank you for staying through to the end, or use those chapters below to find the instructions. And I'll see you at the next design team project video and or one of my alternative advent calendars. Thank you.